we're diving into this principle that freedom of wealth is foundational for the other two, for freedom of time, freedom of health. And the obstacle that's in the way are the investments that you're using that unfortunately are being recommended by everybody out there. Hi, friends. This is Colin Richards, and we're in our second segment on the subject of freedom of wealth. This is one of the three key freedoms that you're going to need to retire successfully and carefree. We know that the ultimate goal of life is happiness and fulfillment and purpose and meaning and love, all those important things that we need freedom of time to invest in the lives of those that are most important. So to get freedom of time, you're going to have income. And then the second freedom is freedom of health. That is to have a sound body and mind so that you can be truly free physically to invest that time in the things that really matter. And what we're going to need there is we're going to need access to other people's money to make sure we don't fall victim to high unexpected costs in our healthcare. And so we're going to teach you how to do that. We're going to teach you how to develop an income stream that you can never outlive. That's a part of your retirement plan. We call it a retirement freedom review. When we sit down and talk to you, we will look at everything you've got going, your goals, your dreams, your values, what's truly important to you, and work together to develop a plan so that you can achieve that in a carefree way without fear. And then the third critical one is freedom of wealth. And so we're diving into this principle that freedom of wealth is foundational for the other two, for freedom of time, freedom of health. And the obstacle that's in the way are the investments that you're using that unfortunately are being recommended by everybody out there. And the problem is that the markets are unpredictable and volatile. I don't have to prove this to you. This is self-evident. And the underlying belief is, well, as long as you've got a good stomach, you can just endure. The problem is that the typical wealth combinations not only underperform what you could do elsewhere, but also still leave you at high level exposure to extreme risk and failure in the retirement plan. And that's not acceptable. And by the way, markets don't just mean the stock market, although that's certainly the first thing we think about. This means the bond market. Things we traditionally think of as safe are volatile and not safe. Real estate market, you say, I've got real estate. It's physical and it's enduring. Yeah, and it can also drop off a cliff like we saw in 2007. Commodities, okay, whatever you're trading, whether it be gold or oil, or maybe you're really enjoying a high-risk portfolio of Bitcoin or something like that, foreign stocks, domestic stocks, all kinds of investments, they all come with risks, and it's the risks that you're not accounting for that can destroy the plan. This is the mindset of a great business person, that they are legitimately, rightfully paranoid, not to the point of paralysis, but what they're going to do is they're going to take a look at things from an objective standpoint and say, what risk do I really have, and what can I do to mitigate or even eliminate those risks? That's how great businesses work, and that's how people achieve success in business, because 90% of businesses are going to fail within 10 years of opening their doors. And guess what? The same things happens to retirees because of the prevailing advice out there. Say, okay, Colin, I'm listening. What's your solution? Well, the first step in this process is to adopt a different approach to risk management. I know we want to get to growth, and I'm excited about growth. Growth is wonderful and it's important, but what got you to this point in your life where you're ready to retire is not what's going to get you through retirement. As Marshall Goldsmith famously said, the great business mind, he said, what got you here won't get you there. The same strategies that built your portfolio in your 401k, IRAs, and other investments are not sustainable when you enter the distribution phase of your life. You say, what's a distribution phase? Well, that's the phase when you need the money. And here's who we can learn from: institutions, foundations, endowments, some of the largest wealth pools on earth. You say, well, what do I have in common with them? I'm just a mere mortal. I have a normal sized portfolio, Colin. What can I learn from huge institutions like the endowments at Harvard and places like this? Well, they constantly distribute. They are in a forever distribution stage. They're using their money, if it's an academic institution, for scholarships, new programs, building buildings, campaigning for more students, whatever it is. And the same thing goes to hospital endowments, right? For research, think of the Children's Hospital and the amount of money that they fund research and insights into new treatments, and so on and so forth. Foundations. My wife and I have a foundation. It is a continual outflow of money to the poorest people on earth who need to hear about the love of God and also to receive for the great physical needs as well as their spiritual needs. And so every month money flows out, just like you will or are in retirement. And so they can't let the money run out. You say, so is the solution just forever to get more money coming in? I can't do that if I'm a retiree. No, solution isn't that. The solution is to manage risk differently. Manage risk differently. And since they've been doing this successfully, consider Harvard the largest endowment in the world, what are they doing differently that we're not doing in retiree portfolios? Well, the good news is we can find that out. There are tools and resources available. And at Lord & Richards, we've been studying this for years and years and implementing similar or even in some cases the exact same approaches. You say, okay, what are the approaches that I can use? Well, let's start with the ones that aren't so hot, okay? The ones that unfortunately a lot of people are using. Let's start with cash. Okay, this is a low probability of success approach, and we'll test your probability 10,000 times using the features of the investments that you have. And you'll discover what your percentage likelihood of success is. And if your portfolio was all cash, unless you're just not going to need any money, it's going to run out right away. So the security level on that is super high, right? Super low risk from an investment standpoint, but from a growth standpoint, it's low, and you're going to fail. How about stocks? Security? How is it with security? Well, not very high. You say, well, I'll make up for that by broadly diversifying. Warren Buffett will tell you that failure to concentrate your portfolio does not reduce your risk. As a matter of fact, every investment advisor takes a test and has to attest to this fact that broadly diversifying, you cannot get rid of market risk. Diversification does not eliminate market risk. And a lot of times things that you'd think aren't correlated, they shouldn't move together like stocks and bonds, they do, just like they did a couple of years ago in 2022, and people were flattened who had the typical 60-40 portfolio. And how about bonds? Oh, that's a high security investment, Colin. Bonds, you're always going to get your money back. Is that true? Not really. As a matter of fact, the bond market itself creamed people back in 2022, losing 25% broadly. So security is low and growth is low. We're trying to find solutions at Lord & Richards that don't align with what you're being told that is consistently failing people. And we test this for you right in front of you. We're going to come back in just a couple minutes and explore these further, but I want you to pick up the phone now and give us a call, because it is vital that you get a plan in place that will provide you a guarantee of the freedom of wealth, freedom of time, and freedom of health. And I'm going to talk to you about something special in our next session, so be sure to stay tuned, and I'll be right back. It just starts with a simple phone call.